Right, okay. Let's get some colour in it. What I'm doing here is and apologies for the appalling camera work, by the way, but that's the way it's come out. I couldn't get a decent enough angle on it. So what I'm doing here, we're going light to dark, also light to dark with alcohol markers. So I'm laying down the lightest colour first, and this is my secondary light source. That's what I'm doing. And I'm having the light come from the left hand side. So I've got to get the lightest colour in first on all the bits where it would catch. That's what I'm doing there. You may have noticed I'm using the chisel tip. I nearly always do. It's a bit like using a brush for me. People always say, isn't it a bit fat? And well, you know, because honestly, it doesn't really matter if you go over the lines a little bit. Who cares? You know, you'll probably be able to cover it anyway if you really want to, and if you don't, who cares? Who cares? There you go. So those are the 4 colours I'm using. 4 what's the word? Graded shades of green. So I'm going with the next one. There you go. That doesn't work. That thin end there. So I'm going to use the other end. Slightly darker shade. Now the thing you should know about alcohol markers, they are an excellent tool. They're a very diverse tool. The more you go over a piece, an area, the more pigment that they will lay down. So you can give one very light coating, and if you go over, even with the same colour, it will give another coat, which is really useful to know. So what I'm doing here, I'm going around all the darker bits with my darker shade. Now this is my next dark shade. Just lay a bit down there. Now I'll go back to a lighter shade because I want to blend it. There we go. So I'll blend it with the lighter shade again. I think I'll go back to an even lighter shade as well. There we go. Even lighter shade, just to do a bit more blending there. I don't care if it's a perfect blend or not. Why would I care? There you go. That's good enough. Go back in with a nice dark shade again. That will do on these bits. Get those nice thick transitional shadows in there. And this will start to give the sketch a bit of depth. There we go, a bit down there. Even more depth. Go back to a lighter shade to blend it through again. So that's what you want to do. That's what you do. You lay the light one down first, go darker, and then you blend when you go back to a light shade. This is what I'm doing here right now. There you go. Blending with a light shade again. Looks a bit not as good close up, but don't worry, from a distance this will look excellenter. So there you go. If you there you go. I'm blending again there. I just want to put a little bit of dark in there, not too much, just a tad, just so you can get a bit of a sense of it. And I'll blend that up there. That will be blended. There you go. Just blend that. The more you blend with alcohol as well, depending on how juicy your pen is, it will blend it and it will get a lot fainter. It's again the fantastic thing about if you work with alcohol markers. There we go. Again, you get just a nice sense of depth there. coming down onto his just the edge of his rucksack strap, just the edge, because it's a three-dimensional object, so the edge will catch the light coming from the left-hand side. I already done his hand there, just because that was going to be a bit of a pain, and I wasn't quite sure how I was going to do it, so I did it off camera. I cheated. But there you go. That edge there is just catching a bit of light there, because those straps are not going to be green; they're going to be something else. Okay, so I got started on this. Now this is the tracky top, obviously. So what I want to do here is he's going to be wearing a grey tracky top, and you can see there's creases there. So what I'm doing here is I'm laying a base fill, and it's the lightest colour. So I'm just laying this base fill, which is my lightest colour that I'm going to use, which is I'm using neutral greys for this. This is an NG2 Stylefile, if you're interested. Now I've got to rub out the pencil down here, because if you go over pencil with certain pens, it just bonds the graphite to the paper, and you'll never get rid of it. So I'm just that was me just scrubbing it out there, out the pencil lines. Okay, so just lay this base fill in there. Doesn't matter if it's all a bit shonky, doesn't matter, because it's getting gone over anyway. So now I'm going to move to an NG3, which is my next tone, and it's actually considerably darker, this one. They do vary. That's the only thing about, well, pens generally. You should always make swatches, really. You should always make swatches every time you get new pens. To be honest, I'm not disciplined enough to do it, but you can see the difference in tone in this is huge, and you never know quite what you're going to get, because pigment varies in pens. It always does. Whatever pen you get, it doesn't matter what you get. Paints are the same. But pens, you should always make swatches, so you know exactly what colours you're going to get, or try it out first. Because what I'm doing here, I'm dropping in the folds now. So what I'm doing is I'm putting shadow on the folds which are tucked away from that. So we got the primary light source is coming from the right. So how can I explain this? So light is shining on the character from the right hand side, so anything down the left is going to be cast in shadow, technically, or anything underneath is going to be shadowed. You'll see where I'm going with this anyway. There we go, just blend that a little bit there. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to fade down to the top of his, where he's tucked in, so these, where his collar meets the top of his tracky. That's going to be dark up there. Now on the right hand side, obviously I don't want to put too much dark on there, because that is where light is hitting the character primarily. On the left hand side, I can do it nice and dark. I'm just going to fade that as well. There you go. Just blend that a little bit. Blend it. Just soften those edges a bit. There we go. And again, darker shade again. You notice I'm not doing the bottom bit yet. I'll fill in some bits off camera. Just so you can see the main stuff, getting the gist of it. There you go, nice and dark on that side, because obviously that is the most starved of light on that side. And this bit down here. Here we are. Make this nice and dark. I don't always do things this dark. I don't always lay down this much ink, but I will do in this one, because I'm showing you. So blend that, blendy. There you go. All blended nicely. That's all I need there. That's fine. Bit more dark there. just so you get a bit of an idea of them folds in there. You can do folds a lot easier than this, frankly, but I'm doing it this way because I'm making a video of it, so I may as well over egg it. Now I need to get on his sleeve in a second, but I'm just going to blend these bits, just a tiny bit of a lighter colour in there, just to take the edges off a bit, take off any sort of really hard edges. There we go, and that's my darkest colour I'm going in with there, so it doesn't need very much. Really dark there. Doesn't need that much in there, just bits and pieces there, little tiny bit. There you go. Knock that in there, push that right back. So the darker it gets, the further you're pushing it back. You're pushing it back, so all the light stuff is near the front. It's coming towards you. All the dark stuff is being pushed back. Just blend that in again, so it's all nice and blended, and there we go. And so you're getting the illusion of depth. That's the idea of this. Hopefully you're getting the illusion that there is some depth to this flat drawing. There we go. I'm going to leave it alone in a second because I'm in danger of over egging it. Just blend that again. There we go. Sometimes you just want to soften the edges or something. That's all. Just soften the edges off. Okay, so now I'm going to do his sleeve. And for this one, I mean, to be honest, I could have gone either side of that sleeve because your eye would be fooled either way. If I put shadow on the left side of it or the right side of it, it wouldn't really matter. There are people who would argue with me, but they're wrong. I could probably do this a lot quicker, so I'm just going to work out how much shadow I need to put on. That's probably not enough so far. Probably needs to be a bit more than that. So I'll go back in a minute. I'll put a nice dark colour down the edge there. You notice I've not gone all the way to the edge. It's a good way of depicting cylindrical objects that are round, where you just keep a bit of reflected light on one side. That's what we call reflected light on the right hand side of his sleeve there. Bit of reflected light. So the shading starts just in from the edge, and you get a sense that it's a sort of cylindrical rounded on object. If I can possibly speak. There we go. That's about enough. Is it? Maybe a bit more. There you go. I think that's alright. Getting his cuff there. I'll do something on his cuff. There you go, little shadow under his glove, and that's a hard line shadow. I'm not going to blend that. This will be all blended there, but under that cuff you notice that is a hard line shadow, because sometimes if an object is closer to another object, its shadow will be hard rather than soft.